Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father. Apologies for not streaming last night. The neighboring parish decided to have a priest get together, so I don't get many opportunities out in my part of the state to have that chance. So I jumped at it and I had a good night. We were hanging out with about four of my brother priests, and anyway, so belated happy 4th of July. A lot to go over today. First of all, just discovered this morning. I guess Pope Francis had surgery. I didn't even know he was sick. So Sunday evening surgery lasted about 3 hours. Apparently, he had part of his colon taken out. And again, I didn't know that he was doing that, but as it says, the Pope, barring any complications, will remain at Gemelli Hospital for 7 days. Okay, so it was a scheduled surgery. So the Pope recited the Angelus as usual with the faithful gathered in St. Peter's Square. He then left Casa Santa Marta in the afternoon. So, okay, well, the Holy Father is doing good, so that's good, just to keep him in prayer as well. But along with that, we do have some sad news that broke this afternoon. I'm trying to get the article up here. I was on Gary's stream earlier, Nerd Rock stream. So sad news as Richard Donner, well, I don't know if it's really sad, but I mean, it is sad, but he lived to be 91. That's a really good age. So Superman, the director of Superman, The Goonies, died this afternoon. Anyway, it says that he also directed Lethal Weapon, which, believe it or not, I have not seen. I think I have it on digital. No, it's 48 hours. There was a movie that I bought that came with a digital copy of another movie. It was 48. So no, I have not fully seen Lethal Weapon, but I have seen this other one that he directed, Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts. It was so-so. Then he also directed Lady Hawk, which I don't think I've heard of, but it had Michelle Pfeiffer and Matthew Broderick. So, but as you know, he was cut during the second Superman movie. He directed the first one, and I think the first one was genius. I mean, I think even though it's over 40 years old, it still has aged. It still has lasted up. And honestly, I think it's a better story than some of the things that Marvel has been putting out over the last year or two. We'll be going over that too, because I kind of got into a little Twitter war with a reviewer of Black Widow. But yeah, so Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't remember a whole lot of differences from it. I could be very wrong, but anyway. But he also did shows like Route 66, which I've not seen. I've been wanting to see it. Twilight Zone, which I have the box set. Love the Twilight Zone. And The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I also would love to have the box set, but it's a little expensive. Then he also did this 1968 movie called Salt and Pepper with Sammy Davis Jr. and Peter Lawford, which I had never heard of before. He also did The Omen, which I can definitely say I have not seen and I don't intend to see because, as I was telling Ian, the Mega Geek, I usually avoid movies dealing with exorcisms and possession because that stuff is real and that stuff is not meant to be entertainment. So kind of sad to think that a lot of these people in this picture are dead. Jackie Cooper, I think, is no longer living. Mark McClure, who played Jimmy Olsen, Margot Kidder died a few years ago, and Christopher Reeve a few years ago. It's kind of sad to realize that. But anyway, but yeah, he reinvented the modern day comic book with Superman and reinvented the body cop movie with Lethal Weapon. Anyway, but it's been, I know The Goonies, it's been a long time since I've seen The Goonies. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I didn't hate it, but anyway, that is kind of, let's see what, let's take a look at his IMDb page. So 91 really does not look bad for for being 91. My grandmother died 5 years ago now, and she was 16 days shy of 101, but really did not look it. See, so I'm a little slow today because my laptop is at Best Buy. I had a little accident with it, so it's under the Geek Squad protection plan, which means I can't see the chats right away. So just seeing, we got Snorter Poopus here. Good to see you. Chrysanthemum out. Someday I will learn how to pronounce your name. Lady Hawk, yes, Fifth Chestnut. I am not familiar with it. Chris P is here. Oh, sorry to hear that, Snorter Poopus. 91 is a really good age. My grandpa lived till he was 86. He's been gone now almost 20 years. 20 years next year. It'll be 20 years. My mom's dad died, I remember, back in 83, and it was at my aunt's wedding reception, which happened to be on my 9th birthday. So that's kind of a ultimate pity party there. Let's see. Oh, he did Scrooge. That's right. I remember he did Scrooge, which is an awesome movie. I was on the Rabbi's channel last summer. Was it Christmas? I think it was around Christmas time. We did a review of Scrooge, which I had never seen. And I loved it. I've since bought the DVD. I need to get the Blu-ray, though. Okay, so Timeline. I've been wanting to see Timeline. If that's the Michael Crichton time-traveling movie, I think that is. Assassins, I don't really know. Maverick, I never could get into it. That was the Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, Tales from the Crypt, which I just bought the box set recently. Loved it. Radio Flyer, let's see. Superman 2, the Donner Cut. Gotta love that name, Bronk. Shadow in the Streets. Streets of San Francisco. That's one I've been wanting to see. It was out before, 74. I was born in 74. Let's see, which Twilight Zones. Oh, he did the Wild Wild West, which I also have on box set. Twilight Zone. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, so he did he did Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. That is the classic one with William Shatner. I did not know Richard Donner did that. The Jeopardy Room. I've seen almost every single episode of the Twilight Zone. I do have the box set. It's like a 5-case, 23 DVDs. So, wow. Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized that it's not showing on this thing. Okay, so sorry about that. Again. Okay, so this is his IMDb page. Lady Hawk here. Let's see what Lady Hawk is about. The thief Gaston escapes the dungeon of medieval Aquila through the latrine. Interesting. Soldiers are about to kill him when Navari saves him. Navari, traveling with his spirited hawk, plans to kill the bishop. Oh, gee, that doesn't sound good. Let me guess, the bishop is a bad person. Let's see, who do they have as the bishop? Okay, well, whatever. But no, so I was trying to show this earlier. He did a lot of stuff. He did 3 episodes of the Wild Wild West, which I really, really enjoy. I did not know he did The Fugitive. I've seen parts of it. I remember watching the finale for the first time when I was in high school. It was something that was on A&E at the time. So these are the Twilight Zones that he did. And again, I did not realize he did Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which is awesome. And they did a remake of that in the Twilight Zone, the movie, back in the early 80s, where there was the incident where I can't remember, Victor something was filming a scene during the night, and there was an accident, and they were trying to reenact a Vietnam battle scene. Well, one of the explosions got a little too close to the helicopter. The helicopter fell into the lake and decapitated the main actor and 2 Vietnamese kids that he was with. And again, anyway, so, yeah, I think the bishop was the villain. Imagine that. Let's see. Yeah, I remember Sci-Fi Channel used to have the Twilight Zone on every single New Year's Day, and the best part of having the Twilight Zone on DVD is I can do it anytime I want now. Uh, it's kind of, it's one of those things you wish you could go back in time and watch it and experience it for the first time without knowing the twists. I think I was telling the panel on Saturday, there was a time where teaching school, I may not have been in the mood or may have had a lot of things going on. I know I showed at least one episode of The Twilight Zone to Serve Man with Richard Keel, Jaws, the guy from Billy Happy Gilmore. But anyway, just to be able to watch the kids' reaction as they see it for the first time. Yes, thank you, Chris. Vic Morrow. I knew it was Vic something. I just couldn't remember which one. And if I remember, that was the episode where he played a racist, and then he was going through the South and Auschwitz and a few other places. So, yeah, it's a cookbook. So, anyway, that's sad news about Richard Donner. So one of the things that happened over the weekend, I tried to get in on it as it's part of the title thing. The Tolkien Society had their seminar this weekend. I got registered right before it started. Unfortunately, I wish I had done that a day or so before, because this year's topic was diversity. And papers may consider that are not limited to representation in Tolkien's work, race, okay, gender, sexuality, no, disability, Now, I did catch part of the disability talk, and it was more about like the wounds that they receive, class, religion, age, etc. Tolkien's approach to colonialism and post-colonialism. See, this is here, diversity and representation in Tolkien's academia and readership. So, Cordelia Logston was doing Gondor in Transition, a brief introduction to transgender realities in Lord of the Rings. Okay, I can sum it up in one sentence. There are none. Using Gondor as a basis for closer examination, this paper outlines the presence and functions of transgender reality in ways the privileged reading of the text ignores or dismisses. You see, this is a bunch of bull droppings. The idea that J.R.R. Tolkien, a devout Catholic, who basically weaves Catholicism into the Lord of the Rings, is putting transgender realities within this work back in the 50s? No, I do not accept this. And this was the only talk I really wanted to see. So I'm hoping that they will put it on YouTube. In the process, this paper demonstrates the way Reading Against the Grain provides a crucial expansion of the way both fans and academics currently engage with and think about Tolkien's work. That is a load of garbage. The problem of pain portraying physical disability in the fantasy of J.R.R. Tolkien. That one I did see a little bit of, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. Tolkien portrays pain in relationship to physical disability in the Legendarium. Frodo experiences physical pain from his injuries, but this pain is subservient to and inherently connected with his psychological trauma. Okay. Let's see, applying traumatic stress and ecological framework to the narratives and of displacement and resettlement across cultures in Tolkien's Middle-earth. Refugee narratives and displacement are key themes in J.R.R. Tolkien's. Again, I don't think Tolkien is thinking of that when he's writing this book. Again, Tolkien is a devout Catholic. Tolkien's dwarf women and the feminine black. Female dwarfs are noticeably absent from Tolkien's. So what? Dwarf women are mostly unseen figures, featured only in relation to the male dwarfs and never encountered in the narratives themselves. The only distinctiveness offered to Tolkien's dwarf women is fashioned through simple biology. They are female and may bear children. What is the point? The Hobbit, they are there on the journey to get the treasure back from the dragon. In the Lord of the Rings, Dwymmy, and I mispronounced that, but I mean, he's part of the Fellowship. And there we go with the big word, marginalization. This one, I don't even know why it would be it. Projecting Indian myths, culture, and history onto Tolkien's works. This is a bunch of reading stuff into it rather than what is in there. There was another one that was a doozy. Pardoning Saruman, the queer in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Robin Reed, queer atheists, agnostics, and ammonists, oh my. And I did look at some of this stuff. There's some paperwork that was included in this. 113 surveys. Atheists made up 44. Wow. Atheists make up 44% of the respondents, agnostics 30%, and a third group makes up 26%. Of this third group, there is only one recovering Catholic. Yeah, that is... The presentation will focus on how the 34% of the respondents identify themselves as asexual, bisexual, gay, lesbian. Oh, for crying out loud. And how they deal with the assumption that his religious beliefs play a significant role in interpreting his work. Well, that is the key. I mean, I just bought a book. I don't know where it is because my desk is a mess right now. Going on vacation in 2 weeks, so I just dug out my copy of Lord of the Rings that I bought almost 20 years ago. First time I ever read it. I made the mistake of seeing the first movie before reading the book, and after seeing the first movie, I bought the book, read the next two right in a row. This is a book by Joseph Pierce, Frodo's Journey, Discovering the Hidden Meaning of the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to show the Catholic symbolism that I remember offhand is the lembras, the bread, that tiny little piece of bread that's supposed to satisfy you. Well, that's an analogy to the Eucharist, the body of Christ, the real, true food and blood of Christ. So, anyway, so that's what happened this week. Again, I just can't believe this stuff. Let's see. Yes, well, I would say look up Joseph Pierce. Joseph Pierce is probably one of the best Tolkien scholars I've heard. He is a lot smarter than me on this stuff. Again, the idea that you're telling me that J.R.R. Tolkien is reading into considering transgender realities, I can't buy that. I can't buy that. Yeah, but it is. I mean, again, Tolkien said it is a religious work. So, anyway, moving on from that. Let's see. So, another thing that came out this week is the new Captain America. This was something that was supposed to come out last month, I think it is, and I'm bringing up the windows on this one because this is something that really, the new Captain America is not good. As I was mentioning to somebody, I recently picked up 11 Superman comics at a comic book store. I paid $2 each for them, which I'm beyond thrilled. They're from like the late 70s, early 80s. New comic book today is about $4 or $5, depending on which brand you get. Maybe again, it depends. Anyway, let me see. Oh, where is that thing? Hold on. Let's see. Okay, because I had a chance to read the new. There we go. So let's bring that up. Oops. Let's see. Oh, I didn't get to see the seminar. I wanted to see that seminar. I don't know if you could send me the link, because in all seriousness, I want to be able to see that, because I can't. My hope was originally, when I was doing this, when I had this scheduled, I mistakenly signed up. I didn't realize that you had to be signed up. I thought it was going to live stream on YouTube. And again, in all seriousness, if you could, please send me the link. Or will it be on YouTube? Because I know I'm trying to go by what I've seen in the titles. When you're saying transgender realities in Lord of the Rings, knowing that Tolkien is a devout Catholic, I want to be able to know what the presentation is, because again, being Catholic, that Tolkien is, I have a hard time believing that he would put something that goes against what the church teaches. So again, Will, please send me the link. I would love to see this. I would love to be able to do an honest critique. And if I'm wrong, I will accept it. So, yeah, I just read Lord of the Rings again for the first, well, I bought this one 20 years ago, right after the first movie came out, and that was my first introduction to Lord of the Rings. And I've had the chance to meet Joseph Pierce in person, listen to a few lectures on him. Okay, so, but seriously, if you could send me the link, I don't know if it's available for streaming. I really would like to listen. But again, being a Catholic priest and having read books on the Catholicism of Tolkien and the life of Tolkien, I just would really like to hear this presentation. So anyway, but okay, so let me bring that other thing up. Yeah, I'm going to put. See, I'm just going to put my comment in YouTube. Again, I'm serious on this. I really do want to see this. If you could send that to me, I'm on Twitter at Father Miller, FR Miller, Twitter. You can DM me. Okay, so some papers will be available on YouTube. But like I said, I like to hear the presentation. So for those watching, I am on Twitter on YouTube, or FR Miller. So, but yeah, so again, I'm going to bring up this one. Comic books today are pretty much garbage. For me, they're garbage. I mean, a lot of them are garbage. I would say I remember having comics as a kid. When my grandmother, who I mentioned earlier, died about 5 years ago, I was able to, my parents gave me something I guess I gave my grandparents when I was in kindergarten, basically a little booklet that we made. And one of the things I said I liked about being with my grandparents was that they gave me comic books. Now, again, I kind of remember that. I don't know. I know in the late 80s, I got back into baseball cards. And honestly, thinking about it at the time, I'm kind of glad I didn't get into the comic books, because I know I first spent money when Superman died, back in 92 or 93. I don't remember. And my parents gave me the trade paperback of The Death of Superman, and I still have that. That's a book that's it's almost 30 years old. But I would say I really started getting back into comics probably 7, 8 years ago. And I kind of wish, I don't know, there's part of me that kind of wish I got into it a little bit earlier when I was working, because there were great stories that came out that I missed, like Superman Red Sun. And I wish I would have had a chance to get into Invisible, which I watched on Amazon recently. The first season was pretty amazing. The problem is now number one is selling for, I don't know if it's a few hundred. Along with that, if you're following me on Twitter, I posted this afternoon. So I have a number one first print issue of Something is Killing the Children. It's printed by Image Studio, and this is something that came out almost 3 years ago now. I don't know why, but it's a very popular comic. Comic book guy recommended it to me at the time. I picked it up. I kind of enjoyed the story. Basically, a woman belonging to a secret society whose mission is to kill monsters. Monsters are real, and this order is meant to kill them. Anyway, when Berserker, Keanu Reeves comic just came out, if you bought the first and the second issue, the comic book store would give you a special variant, which was the 8th printing of the first episode, or the first issue of Something is Killing the Children, of which I have a first print. And it's only been read once. So I took it home when I went home a few weeks ago. My friend works at a comic book store. He's going to submit it to CGC because I'm getting that bad boy slabbed. Because I can't believe it, but a first print is selling for at least 300 ungraded. And a 9.8 is selling for about 600. I had no idea of that when I bought the comic in the first place, that this is something that would become very valuable. I would probably bought a few issues. It's kind of prompted me to buy a few other issues of new comics when they come up. The two examples that come to mind right now are Stray Dogs, which is printed by Image, I think, as well, and Geiger. It's either, again, another Image or Boom. I don't remember. But the sad thing is, really, right now, the only comic I have on my pull list from DC is A Nice House on the Lake. And this is a DC Black Label. But I don't have any comics from DC or Marvel mainstream comics on my pull list. I do have the new Deadpool that's coming out, White and Black, I think it is. That's going to be a 5-issue set in August, I think. But, I used to subscribe to Deadpool. And when they did the reboot right after the second movie came out, I kind of kept it for a while. But, yeah, anyway, I canceled my subscription. I had subscribed to the Fantastic Four when they rebooted that a few years ago, and I think I canceled my subscription after episode 27, issue 27. Now, Superman has been my favorite character. I remember subscribing to Superman through the mail when they were going through, I think it was 2 reboots ago, when they did the first rebirth, and it was kind of like a reboot of the Superman story. And that ran for about 32 episodes, 32 issues. I don't know why I'm saying episodes, but I do have the 32 of the whatever the run of Superman was. Then they rebooted it again. I don't know why. But the last Superman comic I bought, and let me rephrase that, the last modern, current age Superman that I bought would have been a year or 2 ago, when Superman was going to reveal his identity to the world. And I bought that issue because I wanted to read it. But I'll be honest, the modern reboot of Superman I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I spent money on it. I kept my subscription for the whole series run, and I'm glad I did. But the Superman that I really am in love with right now is the ones from the 60s and 70s and even the early 80s, the Kurt Swan era. Uh, I mean, those comics were amazing. And while I'm doing that, I better make sure. Um, let's see. Okay, so Will wrote a little bit more. Um, yeah. Like I said, send me the link or whatever so that I can at least, because again, anyway, I'll watch them. So, let's see. So, Captain America just rebooted. I haven't really followed Captain America comics since, I don't know if I intentionally, the last comic I bought from Captain America, let me see if I can bring that up real quick, was a variant cover that they did for issue 711, I think it was. Because again, I'm a Deadpool fan. I mean, I have a little toy. I haven't unboxed it yet, but I have the 30th anniversary Deadpool Funko where he is on the cake with his swords. I do have the Deadpool Bob Ross figure on my bookshelf. And I do have a Deadpool poster in my comic cave. Let me see if I can do this real quick while I'm doing this. So they did a Deadpool Captain America variant. Let me see if it was 711. Yeah, there it is. 701. I'm sorry, 701. So okay. There we go. Going to switch windows. Going to switch. Whoops. Okay. My camera's out of focus. I apologize for that. Where are you at? See, the problem is, again, with my computer being in my laptop. Nope, that is something I was going to show later because Independence Day, but I'll just let you know that is the grave of my great, 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 5 greats, Grandpa Captain Philip Christian Enders, who was a Revolutionary War vet for the PA militia. So I am pretty proud of that. The thing that kind of drives me nuts is I wish I knew that because I went to seminary in Philadelphia, and he is buried a little bit north of Harrisburg, which is less than a 2-hour drive from from Philadelphia. So now, if I want to do family history research, I have to fly to Philadelphia and rent a car. Which, again, I've lived in Philadelphia for 4 years. I'm used to the driving, but if I'm going to drive in Philadelphia with a car that's not my own, I'm going to make sure I get the full comprehensive insurance. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Nope. Sorry, that thing again. See, I'm trying to figure out why is this not coming up. Hold on. Let me see. And got the cat trying to get up here right now, so you'll get a view of Cat Shark real soon. Might just heard her there. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So this is the last Captain America that I bought. This was issue number 701. It was a variant that came out, and I only bought it for the cover. Frank Chow did this, and I'm a fan of Frank Chow's work. He did a comic strip called Liberty Metals. I first was introduced to Frank Chow's work about 30 years ago when I was in college because our college newspaper carried his strip, and I think it's kind of what Liberty Metals would become based on. But there's another Deadpool cover that I bought. Let's bring that up. Spider-Man 2099. They did a Deadpool variant. Okay, so let's bring that up. Hey, Bosco, say hi to the people, Bosco. Okay, that's not the best image there. Let's try this. Okay, here we go. And that's forbidden. Let me try this. Okay. Okay, so this is Spider-Man 2099. I won this in an auction a few years ago. This is a variant reprint of the night that Gwen Stacy died. And in the original cover, there was somebody close to me is about to die. And there's like a picture of Aunt May. There's a picture of J. Jonah Robinson. Gwen Stacy, I think MJ was on it. There was all the people in Spider-Man's life. Well, this one, they are basically saying somebody is close to me is about to die. Well, everybody's pointing towards Gwen Stacy. So, but this came out when Marvel was celebrating its 75th anniversary, and I think I paid $25 for this one. I forgot to take this one home when I was going to get the comics graded and everything. And yeah, Cat Shark wants attention. She's currently lying right here. So, but okay, so like I said, let's bring this up while we're doing that. I'll just show you the comics I have because I think I was showing somebody else this recently. One of the comics I did recently win in an auction was a lot of 10 from Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos. The thing that I was really excited about was in that was a number 3 and a number 7. So number 3 would have been from 1963. And I know that if you were to buy that individually, like on my comic shop, that one was selling for about $37, I think. So let's see if we could do this. Where? Comic Collector. You know, this is going to drive me nuts because I do have this. Let me see if I can do this in the other window. Because the thing I like about this thing, when it works, okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to switch windows again. Okay, I hate these things. Oops. I got too many passwords and everything. Okay, so this is my collection. I remember Gary was saying on his stream recently that, you know, a series collector has about maybe 1,000 comics. I got 1,300 at least logged in. The thing that I really am happy about, and this thing is stalling again. Darn it. While we're doing that, let me see if I can find if I missed any comments. I can't because my computer is timing out right now. So hopefully this is still streaming. Bosco's here with me, even though it's a she cat. It's named after St. John Bosco, the patron saint of youth, who I had a devotion to. I always loved the name Bosco. It's Italian. So while we're doing that, anyway, the reason I was going to bring this up is just to show you the range of comics I have. Because the majority of my comics are from Superman, and I would say they run from the 60s to the 80s. There we go. We're now back. Okay, so I have about 86 of Superman number 1. Okay, let's see. This is not showing yet. So I will show this thing before I get into the reason why I'm going to criticize Captain America. Okay, so this is the statistics. This is really neat here because this allows you to see what characters you have the most comics of. So it says here I have 86 of the first run of Superman, which would have been from 1939 to 1986, I think it is. And a lot of these comics that I have are from the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. But the thing that I also bought was, and I've been investing and working at getting, is Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, because, I mean, they're full of camp and corn. The idea that Jimmy Olsen has a fan club all throughout the world. anyway, I now have 73 of the 100 and some issues of Sergeant Fury. Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, is the other one I've been collecting. So I have 72 of those. See, what they did was, excuse me, they combined when Superman's girlfriend and Superman's pal came to an end, they combined them into one magazine called the Superman Family. And I just recently completed my collection of that. Let's see. Yeah, so the Superman Family, there's 59 of those issues. But you can see here, so 86 of the classic Superman, 78 from, again, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. This would be early 60s to mid 70s. And when they switched over, they went to the Superman's Family. Superman's girlfriend, 72, and the Superman Family, 59. So I have about maybe 300 plus Superman comics. This is why I'm bringing up Captain America here. So okay, so I did start really picking up comics again in 2015, so about 6 years ago. And at that time, I'm sure I probably picked up a few more than that. But in 2016, I ended up buying 66 comics. 2017, I bought 110. That went down a little in 2018. 2019, I actually spent a good amount of money on comics. I ended up buying about 200 comics, but this is interesting because notice last year I bought only 108. So I basically halved my production or my purchases. And so far this year, I'm on a par, maybe to be a little bit less than last year. And the reason is 2019, I was still buying Marvel and DC. This would have been during the time when the Superman reprint was being done. And I did buy a few Batmans. I did buy the Dark Labels when they came out. I have a Batman, I won't say the D word, but I'll just say Batman Condemned to Hell. First issue that's uncensored. So anyway, so again, there's a big drop in 2 years. I mean, to go from, I can't believe I spent that much money on it. But again, the thing is, as it says, we'll go back to the stats. A 9.6 is selling for $190. I have the whole collection of it because I've been buying it ever since, and they just came out with issue number 17. So number 2 is selling for $140. I do have Batman White Knight, which is awesome. The White Knight series was amazing. And again, I just wish DC would get back to this type of stuff. And then it was Superman Rebirth. Okay, so this is going to bring us back to... This is going to bring us back to the Captain America. Because, again, part of the problem is, and I think we're seeing it, is with all the woke garbage that is going on. So this is the cover. Okay, so let's see if this showed up. Okay, so I know this is from Bounding into Comics, but Captain America says, I am loyal to nothing except the dream. I actually said that once. Here's the thing about a dream, though. A dream isn't real. When we wake up, it goes away, and we're left with this yearning inside, like something was taken from us. At least that's one kind of dream. But lately, spending my days in this country as the years march on, I'm starting to think that America actually has 2 dreams and 1 lie. Yikes. So we have him basically lamenting, I would say. And, excuse me. So, but let's see. This is the white picket fence fallacy. If we're not careful, it becomes nationalism, genuinism, a lot of isms. That dream isn't real. It never was, because that dream doesn't get along nicely with reality, other cultures, immigrants, the poor, the suffering. People easily come to be seen as different or un-American. That white picket fence becomes a gate to keep others out. And he's cleaning his shield as he's doing that. A good dream is shared. And when something isn't shared, it can become the American lie. Well, that doesn't exactly appeal to me. Let's see. So the Smithsonian is putting on a special exhibit called Americans Who Fight. Let's see. He didn't like the name. There were Americans who fought for sure, but also reached, laid themselves bare. So I'm guessing this is probably, I guess that's Lincoln's hat. That's probably something from the civil rights. This is probably part of the American Bunt, which was an American group that was sympathetic to the madman in Germany. And they did it without serums or powers. Oh, this is probably Cesar Chavez. I think this is the Cesar Chavez logo. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, that's a Cesar. Sorry, that is the Cesar Chavez logo. I was going to say, why would they have the American fascists? So, yeah, Cesar Chavez. I'm going to say Lincoln again. Civil rights, and they did it all without serums or powers or metal suits. The museum wants to put my shield on display. They have an old replica, but they believe the real deal will mean more to people. Yeah. But unlike those other folks, the ones who reach with selfless clarity, I find myself too often stripped of what I'm supposed to stand for. And this was the fun part here. Being a fat guy could probably fit into the first panel. It's pretty easy to repurpose for people's various agendas. And I'm a target when things in this country get bad, and believe me, they can get bad. Sometimes it gets so far away from 1940 when I first got injected that it seems pretty ridiculous. Got Zombie Cap back there. And honestly, I started to wonder if I divide more than I unite. And then somebody breaks in for the shield, steals the shield, and then it's supposed to be a road trip across country as Captain and Falcon try to track down the shield. And one of the first people they came out with, this was introduced back in February, I think it is. This is supposed to be the Captain America of the railways, and Aaron Fisher. So he is basically a homeless gay person that rides the railroads and defends people. Say, I ride the rails, didn't dig home. You know, Dad tried to beat the me out of me. That's nice. Anyway, left with my boyfriend a few years ago, broke up, though he stayed in Missouri. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool people on the rails, like kind of like family, but some real pieces of poop show up too. And I take care of folks like that. Yeah, I just don't see him. And if you saw the variant cover for this, I don't think the guy could beat up anybody. So anyway, but there was let's see, got Cat Shark again. She's jumping up. Let's go back because at the end of this one they had oh, I'll bring it up. Okay, I think I got it. Yep, I got it. Okay, hold on. I got to switch windows again. Jeff, good to see you. So I just not a fan of this new Captain America. Let's see. Jeff, would love to get you on, talk comics. It's been a while. I don't know if you heard, but I submitted a few to CGC. I just picked up a Sergeant Fury #3 and a #7 in addition to 7 other comics. And I submitted my Sergeant Fury with Captain America, number 16, off to CGC, along with my Lois Lane, Superman's girlfriend, where she becomes a black woman for 24 hours so that she could go undercover and do investigations. So this has his backstory in the background. Yeah. Anyway, but this is going to bring us up to one of the last topics for today. If you follow me on Twitter, you know, got engaged in the war. Black Widow is coming out next month or next week. Actually, I think it's this weekend Black Widow's coming out. I'm not too optimistic about it. I think Marvel's been going downhill ever since Infinity War came out, because after Infinity War came Captain Marvel, and with that whole thing, Rotten Tomatoes had to tweak how they grade the scales and everything, because people didn't like Captain Marvel. And I'll be honest, I hate Captain Marvel. I hated her since I first was introduced to her in Civil War II. And she just seemed like a... But anyway, this guy by the name of Eric Francisco of Inverse Magazine said that Black Widow is the best Marvel movie, period. And my first response, I didn't tag him. I did the happy laughing my butt off face with the clown face, basically with the title, apparently better than the Avengers. And then I decided to tweet him, tag him, just to see if he might respond. And I said, better than the Avengers, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't believe Black Widow is going to be better than any of those. I kind of got into a little debate with him yesterday. I finally responded to him. My favorite Marvel movies are the origin stories. So Iron Man, the first Iron Man, the first Thor, and the first Captain America, the first Avenger. I think those 3 are perfect. They may not have done as well in the box office, but those movies were done really good. And then Gary from Nerdrotic pointed out, and I didn't realize it, but those first 3 were made by Paramount. Well, the last few things have been done is by Disney, and not too happy with Disney, because it seems everything Disney touches turns to dust. So this guy surprisingly responded, basically saying that he was a practicing Catholic and he was taught not to be an a-hole. But okay. Well, I wasn't intending to come off as a jerk. I literally was trying to get into whether he really thought that this is supposed to be the best movie ever. When you say best Marvel movie, period, you're pretty much, at least I'm assuming, that you're going to say that this is the best thing Marvel has ever made. And so he retweeted it to his friends, and I kind of dreaded. It's like, okay, are they going to come attack me now? And they thankfully never did. A lot of people defended me on this because I'm trying to state my opinion. I really am not buying that this movie, which they should have made years ago, Black Widow is dead. Endgame basically tells us that she is dead. So going into this movie, you know that whatever horrible things or life-threatening scenes she's going to experience, she's going to live, because this is before a lot of the MCU. So, but again, with what Disney has done since Infinity War, I mean, Captain Marvel was... Ugh. Then you had Endgame, which was a great way to sum up the MCU. I think that's the end of the MCU for me. I still remember laying out a groan at the end of the movie where you had all the female Avengers gathering, kind of like a girl power scene. And it's like, that they're pushing it because Captain Marvel was at the lead of it. And Brie Larson, I have my issues with. I would say if you want to see better videos, go to Nerdrotic or Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Although be warned, he does use quite coarse language. But anyway, Yeah, so I'm not the one that went straight to a fallacy, but um, the problem is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really have my problems with it. I enjoyed the movie, but as I was telling John Trent from Bonding into Comics, Aunt May should not be attractive, and this is not something I'm saying as a priest. I mean, in the original comic and in the first three movies with Tobey Maguire, Aunt May is an old woman, a frail old woman, a woman that's always in peril. But Aunt May, Melissa Torme, who I think is in her late 50s, she's still pretty young, and she is not an old woman like Aunt May is portrayed. So I have my problems with that. I also don't like how they switched MJ, although they never say that she's Mary Jane. But I mean, I'm sorry, but I prefer Mary Jane as the redhead, or bring back Gwen Stacy. So, but yeah, this got into an interesting little situation. I'll bring up some of the things that were said. I basically said, you can call me a name if you want, but that didn't answer my question. Let's see. Where is it? While I'm doing that, I will say I was going to talk about Rick and Morty. I saw the new episode today. I loved it. It's not as good as the first two episodes of season 5, but it still was pretty dark and fun. It was a parody of Captain Planet. Let me see if I'll just show one of the pictures from that. So it's a parody of Captain Planet. I don't know what game this was, but they're playing a game where they have to feed this guy and then punch him in the stomach and everything. Beth is already with a glass of wine, so you know that she's pretty stressed out over this. But I loved it. I mean, it's definitely not for kids. Not for kids. Okay, so we'll finish up with this here. Okay, so let's see what he had as his response. Somebody was trying to say I'm a troll. Ooh, well, I just basically responded. I think the best movies are, again, the first three from the MCU. Let's see. Okay, so he had 6 comments. Seriously though, how could it be better? Oh yeah, that's right. Izzy's right. Keep practicing. Father Miller, please chill. Ooh, I don't even know who this guy is. He has pronouns. Priest. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what some people following me said. Could be the best Marvel movie of the last 2 years. Yeah. Better than Civil War. Infinity War, I would think he probably says that it is. Well, even poop is fresh when it's fresh. Somebody tweaked the poster, the worst of the best Marvel movies. See, part of my problem with, again, going back to Captain Marvel, and I hate this about Captain Marvel, what they did to Nick Fury. Because I remember in The Winter Soldier, him screaming at Cap, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost my eye. Well, and then Captain Marvel, it shows that he lost his eye to a kitty cat who scratched him. Again, I love Nick Fury. I have been collecting Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos. I can accept a race, different colored Nick Fury. I'm fine with that. I mean, I haven't really complained, but the idea that a little kitty cat is going to be the reason he lost his eye, I don't buy that. And I don't like Captain Marvel. The funny thing is, I'm trying to think if she responded here. Yes, here it is. Can confirm Black Widow is easily top 3 Marvel movies for me. Well, let's look at who she's with. Writer, fangirl, official Leslie Knope, associate editor at the Mary Sue. And if you don't know, the Mary Sue is kind of hard not to come off sounding like a jerk when you talk about it. We'll go look at their website real quick. I tried to figure out how to respond to her without saying that I don't consider anything you say as being valid, because again, knowing the Mary Sue, let's just say they think the Disney Star Wars trilogy is awesome, and they were pretty ticked off that Rose Tico got cut from the third movie. So I just basically was trying to see what she would say. I think the first Captain America movie, the first Thor movie, and the first Iron Man movie are the best movies that Marvel made. The worst three would be Iron Man 3, because from what I was told, what they did to the Mandalorian, or Mandolin, or whatever the character, I mean, he basically comes off as a drunk or a druggie, and supposedly from the comics, he's supposed to be a really bad guy. Captain Marvel, and I hate Thor: The Dark World. You see, I was trying to debate whether it was going to be a tie between Thor: Dark World or Age of Ultron, because I hated Age of Ultron. Although it did introduce Scarlet Witch. So while we're doing that, we'll look at the Mary Sue. And again, just to thank everybody for watching. We still have a few people on. I'm going to try to do another stream later this week. I'm doing the stream Friday morning with the rabbi. We'll be doing that at 8 o'clock Central in the morning. I have Mass at 7, so then I'm able to get over back in time to get ready for that stream. We'll be doing Friday afternoon stretch again this week. Had a good time last week. Again, it just seems to be getting better with every week that goes on. And then hopefully, again, on Sunday, I'll be streaming. Yeah, and I hate what they've done to Loki. What Disney has done to Loki, making him bisexual. And I haven't seen Loki. I don't want to see Loki. I saw WandaVision. I didn't really care for WandaVision. And just reading about Captain in the Winter, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then just reading that they're going to be having Miss Marvel, which it's going to be a junk thing. Let's see. Well, why don't we do this? Let's see if we can do a search thing, and we'll see what they say. We are definitely blocking notifications from them. Okay, Star Wars. Let's do Rose Tico. Blaming the rise of Skywalker's lack of Rose Tico on Carrie Fisher's footage is illogical. Kelly Marie Tran deserves better, regardless how you feel about Rose Tico. Justice for Rose Tico. Internet loses its mind over pic of space boyfriends Finn and Poe with Rose Tico. Why is Rose Tico being removed from Star Wars merchandise? A Rose Tico series is everything we want and deserve from Star Wars. No, it isn't. So, they like Rose Tico. And there's even more stories. So, anyway, that's about it for that. So, let's look at comments. Yes, Reylos are weird. And I can't say what Jeremy says after that. So, I don't know if Will is still watching, but I really am looking forward to seeing if he'll send me that link, because I really do want to watch. I want to watch that thing, and I'll try to go into it with a neutral approach. Iron Man 3, yeah, we don't talk about that. The one thing I'm kind of kicking myself, I never got into Guardians of the Galaxy. I wish I had when it came out. I didn't really know much about the comic until the movie came out. I didn't see the movie in the theater, but I wish I had. I saw the second one in the theater. I know some people don't care for the second movie, but I think it was good. I actually enjoyed the second one. And with Thor in it, I thought it was pretty good too. So battling internet thunderstorms, we could use some up here. So send them our way. Also, looking forward to meeting you in Vegas. So for those watching, part of the Nerdrotic community, I'm going to be joining Gary in Vegas with a few of the other people. This was something that was supposed to happen in December last year during the Star Trek convention, but because of the thing that shall not be named, it got canceled. So it got postponed till this coming August, next month. I was going to fly in on the 11th and leave the 14th, basically a Wednesday to a Saturday, because if I stayed Saturday night, it was going to add another 100, 200 to my bill. And anyway, but I actually got a cheaper deal by staying an extra day. So I'm flying in on the Tuesday, the 10th, and still leaving Saturday, the 14th. So Gary is going to have a meetup at the Millennium Fandom Bar in Vegas, which I've been reading up. It's a nerd bar, so I'm really looking forward to that. M-Tex Truck is here. Good to see you. Let's see. So, poor little trolls. Yes. Oh, did I miss something? I don't know. Anyway, Mary Sue is quite interesting. Again, I really couldn't respond to her comment without. I think the way I responded, it was probably the best because I didn't want to come off too sarcastic. But I really would like to know what her two other movies are. I'm assuming it's Captain Marvel and maybe Black Panther. So let's see. Few last ones. Snortopoopas is in Tampa. I hope you are safe. I don't know if the storm is hitting you right now, but be safe. Let's see. Both Guardian films felt like they were made for me. I love them. Yeah. And again, I love Rocket. And Rocket Raccoon is the reason why I ended up subscribing to his comic when that came out back in 2016 or 2017, I think it was. The first few were really good, but then it kind of just laid an egg. I didn't care for it. But anyway, Rhaegar Targaryen. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I don't watch Games of Thrones. I know it's a name from Games of Thrones, but I just don't watch Games of Thrones. Probably for an obvious reason, because I'm a Catholic priest and there are no things in there. So Adam Warlock, yeah. And I resubscribed to the Marvel Insider app because I want to reread a bunch of the old comics. I will say the thing that's nice about the Marvel app is that they have the entire run of Spider-Man. And a few years ago, I ended up reading the whole run, and that was fun. And again, that's kind of the reason I'm not a big fan of the new Spider-Man movies. I mean, I'll go see them. We'll see how this new one's coming out. If Captain Marvel's in it, I probably will skip it. But anyway, so that is all I have for today. I actually got to say, I'm surprised I've gone over an hour and 10 minutes. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm getting pretty hungry. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. And until next time, God bless.